Are going to be reviewing a couple of plays, NIO and SunPower, or more specifically the charting that we did for NIO. This is this is ENS. Never mind. That's actually a very nice setup, but if the NIO one turns out to be short enough, then I'll come back and look at this. Let's go back to the NIO play. So if you guys watched the first video, and if you recall, we were basically trading or taking a trade against the trend, and we paid the price for it. So the overall trend, as we had mentioned, was down and bearish, and we had a couple of levels, and at the very end of our analysis on that first video, we had identified that this channel, which should have actually been drawn out as a channel with the channel tool instead of the two separate lines, and I believe we had set up for this let's say positive or bullish play. This is what we were going for, even though the trend for this ticker was bearish, the overall market sentiment was bearish, and the price action was also bearish, because I recall that we were still below that 50 MA, which is here, and we had turned on the Neptune trading indicator, and it was basically flagging bearish for both the 1 and the 4 hour. The only one that was bullish was the daily, and the reason that we had taken the bearish, the bullish play was or we were going to, but we actually never did, was because it never made it above this level. Let me actually zoom into the 1 hour, because I remember more clearly that we had set up these levels on the 1 hour, which were here, and this was 8 days ago, I believe. Today is the 11th, so that basically puts it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I do remember 7, 8. Here we go. This is where we actually did the analysis. This was because I went ahead and I did a separate, or a second play. So our play actually worked out just fine at the open, which was somewhere down here. It actually did cross above the point of control line, which is the one that we were taking as the entry, and it actually ran up all the way here. And I do believe, let me go ahead and see if I can load, oops, that's not it. X trades, there we go. And we did sell. So we did make some profit, even though we were trading against the overall trend. We had figured that it might actually go as high as the downtrending line, and it never reached that target, so we sold earlier. Let me see if I can find this. By the way, is the X-Trades app. It exists both as a web version and as a mobile version. Highly recommended. This has so much information. Once you learn about all the different kinds of information that you use for trading, you could definitely get a lot out of this. Unfortunately, I believe I'm having connectivity issues. Let's go ahead and let this load and go back to the chart in the meantime. But basically, the top of the downtrend line was our price target number 3, if I recall, and we took profits somewhere around this level. Okay, and then once that played out, then I decided that it was, and I did make a second video about this one. I decided that I was going to go for one of two plays because we were too close to the trend line, to the top of the, yes, we were too close to the top of the downtrend resistance, that I decided that it was probably safer to include this this puts play as well, and I went ahead and included this play, but this one I believe I did not take it. Okay, something is definitely off with this. Let me go ahead and just reload the entire thing, and okay, we'll come back to that. So basically, our first trade worked out. If you go back and review that video, you will see that the second video that I made on this trade was actually to recognize that I had not drawn in this level right here, which turned out to be a pretty significant level as well, because I believe this is where we actually took the profit. I did not take my profit up here. I actually ended up taking it here because, as you can see, it actually hit resistance and then dropped again and then hit resistance the second time. And when it hit it that second time, I am not the most diamond hands trader, as you will see, and I went ahead and sold, but I only air traded this. I didn't actually take the real money trade. Let me see. Okay, something is definitely wrong here. Just going to go ahead and I believe it is my connection to the internet. Okay, so once it went ahead and it ran a couple of days more, I decided that I was going to look at the downtrend, or the downside, or the bearish side play, because it dropped significantly here, and then it had another drop here, which actually followed the market. So whatever the bullish news that gave us this rally here faded quickly and strongly enough with the bearish market sentiment to give it 2 days of continued drop, and you can see the increased volume here, which was pretty significant. So I decided that if I was going to take another play, even though it was an air trade, I was going to look at the bearish scenario for puts, and this is what I had. Like I said, I did not take that play, but if I would have, I think we can agree that it would have worked out quite nicely. And it definitely kept on, getting hit by this 50 MA right there. Probably another time. This is pretty close to it as well, and then it bounced off of it again with a pretty large wick right there. So this is actually below this very long-term support, which was our 1428 that we mentioned last time. It was our last long-term. So no, there's the lowest one, 1016. So I am not going to draw this play out. Let me see if this thing finally loaded. Okay. Let me go ahead and try to load my profile from a different link. Okay, if I were to take a trade, and I'm not going to chart it out because I didn't draw any of these levels, and I wanted to move on to another one, but actually the SunPower one is actually more luck than anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and probably spend a little more time. So I'm going to move this this line, or this short tool down here, and that definitely looks like the line to break. Let me zoom out and go. Sure, let me go to the weekly. So here we are on the weekly levels. There's our 1016 level, which is way down low. I'm pretty sure that we could find a different level a lot closer to where we are. So let me dive into the daily here in this area, which is going to be all the way back to 2020. Okay, here we go. This is looking a lot more promising. Okay, so let's look at some of these levels over here near the 1016. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my horizontal ray tool, and I'm going to draw a couple of the ones that look to me like swings. This looks like a swing. It's got two consecutive lower candles on both sides. And it does look like it has 1, 2, maybe 3 touches before it. I'm going to go ahead and draw that. Leave it as a 2 pixel. I'm going to draw one more on this one right here, which also seems to have a couple of touches by the 2 candles right next to it, and maybe even this one here. So that's going to be significant. And since we're out here, I might as well draw this swing right in here, which also seems to have a couple of touches over here. So now let's go ahead and quickly move over to the present. We're still on the daily, mind you, and we were way past 2 years. That's why I was using the 2 pixel lines. I don't recall if these are 2 pixels or 3 pixels, but I just saw another one, which I'm definitely going to use, which is going to be this one right here. And because this is closer in, I'm going to switch over to 1 pixel. Still solid because it's still on the daily or greater. And the only other one that I would draw here would be maybe this one, if it did prove to be significant. It is a swing, so I'll go ahead and draw that. Okay, and I might remove that one that's right there. Actually, I'm not sure why that one is there. Okay, let me zoom in real quick and see what we got here. Let me move back over here, see why I drew that line. Because it's too close to the one I just drew. So it looks, oh yeah, it looks right up above that. That's why. Okay, so let me go back into the 1 hour and see what we've got. So there are probably no price chart patterns that I have seen in NIO lately, and basically the trend is obviously still intact, and so is the SMA that we looked at here, which is the 50. And all we basically have to do is redraw these levels. It looks like it's on support, but it's very recent support. So what I would do is basically draw my price target to the nearest long-term support, which might prove to be that one. And I will set my entry to my not so long-term support, which would be right there, which happens to coincide with the bottom of this downtrending channel that we've been looking at. And the stop loss is too big. Right now it makes the risk reward 0.69. So I could do 2 things. I could either move my my target price down to here, and that would take risk reward from 0.69 to 1.51. But the reason I don't like that is because it's quite a drop. So I believe there's a play before that. So what I would do is I would lower my stop loss down to the current support, because I'm assuming or waiting for this price drop to go from 1284 right now and break below this confluence point right here, which is below the downtrend line and below that, I guess, medium-term support, you could call that. And that puts our risk reward at 144. So we could go for puts here and basically just keep moving this down until we reach that 1016, which we know is a pretty big support, as well as these two at 1197 and 1133. Okay, so that's what I would do for NIO. Basically just adjusting that position, and I'm actually going to go ahead and monitor that play tomorrow. What I wanted to go over real quick, I don't even know if this loaded. It doesn't seem to have loaded. Okay, so there's nothing I can do there, but you can go ahead and review my play. The NIO play is there. And the other one that I was looking at today, that I actually took, and here we go, was SunPower. Now this is a trade not driven by long-term trend as the NIO one was. This one was actually driven by a very short-term catalyst that I had, and I'm going to move into the 30-minute on this one to give you guys an idea of what happened. So the short-term catalyst was that SunPower was downgraded yesterday after hours, Monday after hours, and this is where it closed on Monday. You can see is 21.41, and it gapped all the way down. Pre-market it was trading 20, which is a buck or so. Yep, exactly $1 below. So what I was basically betting on, and this was a lotto play, I actually alerted it as such, was that this was going to add to the down sentiment of the market, and the downtrend sentiment of solar energy in general, just because they've had a lot of issues with tariffs from solar panels from China. So I figured this was going to create a lot of momentum, and you can see the volume increase was quite significant. I mean, we're basically talking about going from oh, this doesn't have the volume indicator here, but we can look at it. No, this doesn't have it. Anyway, I figured that it was going to open, and once it did, it was just going to keep dropping as a knee-jerk reaction, which is incredibly common, especially when you have a catalyst like a downgrade, and then eventually it was going to bounce. So I actually played both of these plays. So I bought it basically at the start, which is something I rarely ever do, and it dropped from 1992, which was the highest. Actually, the start was way down here, so I must have bought somewhere around here, because these are 30-minute candles. Yep. So at somewhere around 1950, and then it dropped. It only dropped to 1895. Okay, so that's about 60 cents. It's not even that much. Unless, of course, let me go ahead and switch over to the 15-minute and see if we can see that better. There we go. So, no, so during the first 15 minutes, or at open, yeah, at open it was 1925. I didn't buy it at anything above 1960, but it only went as far down as 1888. So that's not even a dollar move. But the volatility affected the premium so much that it was just crazy. And I basically made like a 250% play from the whatever I bought it at. If I could open the app, I could tell you guys, but all the way to the bottom, playing puts, and then I took once it broke above this long-term support here and confirmed it, I actually took the calls all the way up, and I was expecting as a third and final price target for it to reach and close the gap, but when I saw it hitting this level right here, which I had on my chart, and it was already very close to the POC line, I decided to go ahead and cut it. And actually, it never made it above that support level right here. So again, I'm going to be watching this tomorrow to see what we can get out of that one. So those are the two plays I wanted to show you guys. Unfortunately, the X-Trades app is not working, which is kind of strange. Let me see if I can, if any other part of it can load. That seems to be loading. But then again, that's not the app. That's the actual website. Okay. And just because this showed up, and I have 10 more minutes for the 30-minute mark, just because this showed up when I opened up TradingView, let me go ahead and switch over to the crypto list. I'm really liking this setup. I've already played it once, and it worked quite well from 15 all the way up to 1650. There it is. Okay, so this is, let me get this out of the way. This is what it looks like. And I'm basically just waiting for this. This has been on a very bullish run, despite what other crypto has been doing, which is what I like. It basically is referred to as relative strength. It has strength relative to whatever its peers or the rest of the market is doing, because basically Bitcoin has been taking a dive, and this has been actually running up. So it had quite a bit of increased volume on its way up, and it did take a break and started to break down below that 15 MA, but it did so on very low volume. So I'm basically just waiting for this to bounce. I need to draw my levels. This is not the chart where I have my levels, but I need for this to bounce off of this trend line, but off of some support as well. And what I would do is take another long position on this one. So we're going to draw some quick levels here. There, that would be one. That would be another one as swing points. If you want to look at multiple touches, that definitely seems to be a level right here, which is what it's at right now. If you draw a line from here to there, okay, I usually don't draw those as rays though, I draw them as horizontal lines, so I'm going to go ahead and draw this in right now, see if I can find a place with the most possible touches. That's a range right there somewhere. Leave it at 1 pixel because I'm not going all the way back, and this is the 15-minute. That's probably why I'm not looking at my levels actually. Okay, so let me go ahead and get rid of that one because I don't really like that one. So I would be waiting for it to bounce off of something like this level, if I could get that on a larger time frame, and probably get back into this. Okay, so it does look like that level touches over here, close enough for that. Let me go ahead and move over to the 4 hour, see if I can get a better look at that. Yeah. So this is the level it's on right now, and we can drag this all the way back to this wick. And this one can be drawn all the way to this wick. Okay, so got some pretty significant levels right there on the 4 hour, which means that they should be dashed. Not solid. So like that. Okay. Yeah, that definitely looks like a good level. And this is, that's probably why it wasn't showing up, because I was so zoomed in. This is what I had drawn. This is what I have as a, on a larger time frame. This is what I have as levels for ENS, which is the Ethereum name service token, by the way. So this is a good, actually drew that line twice right there. That's the line I I have to zoom in to get the ray. But those are my levels, and I can actually see this level going back further. Yep, this level, which I just drew, actually goes back further all the way over here. And that is no longer a 1 hour, that is a longer time frame. Yep, and that's, I believe, where that's, no, it's actually, sorry, this is the one I drew right now, sorry. But that does seem to coincide with this level right here. No, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, or just revert that. Okay, so this is what I have for ENS. It's a very nice setup. It's been very bullish. It already took out this high from here, and it took out this low, in any case, a lower high from here. So I am basically expecting it to bounce. Now the SMA, the 50 SMA on the daily is the one that's going to be acting as support for this candle to bounce, and it seems to already be bouncing. So I am probably going to take a play sometime soon on this one. See, on the 30-minute, I haven't drawn anything for the play on the 30-minute, except for the uptrend, the recent uptrend, which is right there. So what I would be waiting for here is, I would definitely be waiting. This might actually break down a little bit lower. If it does break down, this would be a very high probability play in my book. So I would expect for this to come up and probably hit the 50 SMA right there, which means that this would probably play out like so. This is a very short trend line, so it's not that significant. I would expect this SMA to basically smack it back down, and then somewhere around here, around this support, which is a lot stronger, or probably even here, which is a lot stronger than this one actually, it might bounce and then head back up and take out this swing high, which is 18. So that's what I'm waiting for on ENS. That's where I would take my play, and I just wanted to share that. Even though it's not a stock ticker, it seems like a good setup. So that's it for this video, and I'm sorry I couldn't show you the plays, but like I said, you guys can definitely see if this is any better. You guys can definitely check out my plays in the X-Trade app. Oh, it seems to be loading now. Okay, let me go for the profile. Unless that's the one that's messed up. There we go. You can see all the information, and you can switch between the open alerts and the other ones. I don't have any green open alerts. Everything is red. And this is the... Wait, that can't be the right one. NIO puts? No, those would be NIO puts. You know what? I might have actually taken the NIO calls and not put them in here, and then I took the puts, and I did lose on the puts. So, and here's the one from today, or the SunPower one that I mentioned. I took the puts on the way down and took the calls on the way up, and it worked beautifully. So basically, I'm going to try to replay this with the new chart that we drew up for NIO, and I'll go ahead and post this play tomorrow. If it does signal an entry, then I'll go ahead and I'll post it here, and you guys can follow it, and we'll see it reviewed probably at the end of the week. All right, so thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.